Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad new Fangled motion picture show.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully, all dog lovers listening to this.
Lovers of good boys.
Lovers of good boys. Because we're about to review a movie that is chock full of good boys.
Yep.
That is I Love Dogs.
Or I Love Dogs.
Or I Love Dogs. So, I am Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And as always, we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of the movie. Then we're going to give you a spoiler warning, and then go more in-depth into it. So let's just get right into it. If you like Wes Anderson, you'll love this movie, because this is, like, peak Wes Anderson-ness.
Yeah, this movie is so Wes Anderson. I don't know if there is a movie that is more Wes Anderson than Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, Wes Anderson, is well known for how he frames every scene so meticulously.
Which I imagine is actually easier in animation.
And I was going to say, it was probably easier to direct this movie than any other movie he's done.
Well, except for
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Like, that Fox movie.
Yeah. And it's got quite the cast, too.
Yeah. There's
Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, Scarlett Johansson,
Frances McDormand,
Tilda Swinton. Yoko Ono is in it for reasons.
Yep, and she played assistant scientist Yoko Ono.
Yeah. If you
Ken Watanabe, who did not play Ben Watanabe in the movie.
No. Yeah, so Ken Watanabe is in it briefly, as well. Speaking Japanese too, right?
Yeah,
his character spoke Japanese.
Character spoke Japanese in it.
Yeah, so everyone in the movie speaks, and there's a title card right at the beginning of the movie. It tells you that all the humans speak their native tongue, which for most of the cast means Japanese, and all the dogs are translated to English from bark.
Yeah.
So all the dogs are speaking English. The Japanese people are all speaking Japanese. There's one American in there.
Yeah, if you need to understand the Japanese, there'll be an interpreter.
Or you can infer from the way someone responds to them.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Right.
If it's important for you to understand. And there's some scenes where it's kind of important for you to not understand as well. And that's why they don't translate those.
But there'll be someone will be speaking, and then there'll be like an interpreter off to the side, like translating for television or something. Is
right.
It's part of the story.
Yeah.
And so if you know exactly what they're saying, then they do that. Right.
So this movie was a very fun movie.
Yeah, I had a great time watching.
Yeah, it was a great time watching.
Although it's animated, like Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's not a children's movie.
Yeah.
It's rated PG-13, and it definitely should be.
Yeah.
There's some dark stuff in there that I don't necessarily recommend taking young kids to see this movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Also, it's a Wes Anderson movie. Kids aren't really going to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, because there's not... Yeah, the movie is about sitting there and looking at like a lot of almost still shots and then listening to complex dialogue.
Yep.
And
a lot of dialogue from Bryan Cranston and Edward Norton. I think they probably talk the most.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I think so.
But the main group of five is Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, and Bob Balaban. I trip over that name. Anyway,
yeah.
They're the main five dogs that are in the movie the most, and then some kid
others
named
here and there.
Rankin is the kid.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about him. He's Canadian. His mother's Japanese. His father is Scottish. and he's a Canadian, but he speaks fluently both English and Japanese.
Yeah. So.
And this is the first thing he was ever in.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I can't really judge his acting because I can't understand the language.
Right.
But I assume it's pretty good. I don't know.
I doubt Wes Anderson would put up for not good.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's like Nolan said, it's a lot of the scenes are like an almost still shot with just basically like the mouths moving, maybe like the hair on the fur blowing in the breeze, things like that.
If there is any camera movement, it's a dolly movement where like all this, it'll be a scene where like everyone's standing still on some moving object, you know, and then like the background will be going by or something. That's the only camera movement,
and that's kind of traditional for Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah,
is everything's a still shot. Didn't like in Grand Budapest Hotel, I think there was not a single moving shot, right?
Well, there's that ski chase scene. I think there was moving shots in that.
Oh yeah, I think that was it.
Pretty much, yeah. He doesn't move. Wes Anderson doesn't move the camera much, if at all.
Yeah, and it's even in movies like earlier on by him where aren't so like blatantly Wes Anderson. Like you still kind of partway through the movie, you sort of pick up on that, even if you don't realize exactly what it is.
Yeah, like things feel kind of otherworldly in Wes Anderson movies. Like
that's a good way to put it.
It's just nothing is. It's sort of like a fantastical fairy tale world that he sets his movies in. Yeah, nothing feels quite real.
Right. Even
the live action.
Even the live action ones are the same way.
But yeah, this is very much like that.
God, what was that commercial he did that took place on the train? Remember?
Oh
that?
Yeah, for that clothing company, right?
Maybe I don't remember who it was for.
Mossio or no, that's not right.
Yeah, I don't.
It took place on it was a Christmas commercial where it took place on a train and everyone's traveling during Christmas, so the like a couple conductors set up like a Christmas morning for the people on the train while they're traveling. Yeah. And it was this whole thing, and it was like that. It was a long commercial. It was it was for running, on YouTube before videos, so it was like several minutes long. It wasn't a TV commercial.
Right.
But
even that, I mean, the same way. I think there's like a shot on the outside of the train where like the camera pans and then pans down, but the camera never tilts or rotates. No. That's the key.
They're all crane movements and dollies and trucks.
Yeah. And this movie, same thing. And it's a really, I mean, there's a lot for your eyes to feast on. My eyes were I couldn't imagine sitting any closer to the screen than we were too.
No, because especially during like the credits, and I'm like looking over on one end to like read the credit or some title card, and then I'll like look over to the other end of the next to read some title card. And I was actually having to move my head because we were still a little close to being captured at all.
We were not close to that screen.
No,
either. We were like third row from the back.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just the way he puts it, because he doesn't.
Granted, they're deep rows at the theater,
but things were not necessarily centered. They'd be like off to so far, like up against the edge of a shot.
Yeah.
Where you need to where your focus is supposed to be over the edge of the shot, but there's still stuff like going on to kind of draw your eye away. So you really have to kind of pay attention to the movie, but there's so much like detail on everything going on in these shots, and I can't imagine this movie must have taken forever to make because it's all stop motion.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of sets were reused quite a bit. Well, I know they were because I saw it, but probably a lot of sets were even like reused in different areas as different sets.
Right.
And then it's
I mean, but it was definitely a very entertaining movie, especially if you're a dog person like we are. We are
a singular dog person.
Yeah, you're saying together we're one dog person?
No, the way you worded that. If you're a dog person like we are.
Yeah, you know who I mean.
Yeah, and then but the whole movie is just sort of like about loving your dog.
Yeah.
What all it comes down to is it's about that relationship between man and dog, and how they, you love your dog and your dog loves you unconditionally.
Right. They don't even really know why.
No.
They just do.
And just that relationship between the two, that's just heartwarming.
Right.
And that's what the whole movie is about. Which ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is I love dogs.
Yeah. If you've seen there's an ad campaign of the character saying I love dogs, and then at the end it says Isle of Dogs.
Yeah. So if you wrote it together, it's I love dogs.
Yeah.
It's like, did you mean often someone who hasn't any parents, or often frequently?
I often mean often frequently.
It's a Pirates of Penzance reference there.
Yeah, that's how classy we are.
Anyway, but yeah, it's an incredibly entertaining movie. I highly recommend you go see it, especially now that it seems to be on a widespread release.
Yeah, it took us a while to get it here.
Kind of widespread.
Over a week. Yeah.
Kind of widespread. It's showing in our town, but only at like 3 or 4 theaters out of like the 16 we have here.
Yeah, even though several of the theaters all had posters up for.
Yeah, that was.
So maybe later there'll be even more widespread.
Oh man, that frustrates me to no end. Darkest Hour was the same way.
Yeah,
where we saw posters at all the movie theaters went to, because there's 3 we frequent, and a 4th one we go to sometimes. And all of them had posters for Darkest Hour.
It was only playing at one of them.
By the time we got it in our town, it was only playing at one of them. It was playing at other theaters in town, ones that are just farther away from us, or ones we don't like as much.
But I think a week or so later, there was playing at more theaters.
Well, after it started picking up momentum, people saw it and went, holy crap, this movie's amazing. Because that movie's amazing, too.
But yeah, this movie's like that, and Death of Stalin's like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully both of these movies will get wider releases later on.
Which Death of Stalin we just posted. So if you're interested in a dark comedy making fun of the Soviet Union,
and frankly, who isn't?
go check that out.
Russia, apparently, because it was banned in Russia.
Yeah, it was banned in Russia right before its release. To be fair, it was the release date scheduled was the 75th anniversary of the end of the Siege of Stalingrad. So
I don't know if that was planned that way or not.
I don't think it was planned that way, but I could kind of see Russia's point in that regard. They do quote saying that they thought someone was portrayed as an idiot, and I disagree with that. But anyway, so I Love Dogs is like that. Hopefully it will get more release, because this is a good movie, and it deserves to have a lot of people go see it.
Especially because I'm sure it costs a pretty penny to produce.
Gosh, stop motion animation is so expensive.
Plus such a big cast.
Yeah, and
some of them are pretty well known.
A lot of them are pretty well known. The poster is just filled with names.
Yeah. So anyway, is that the end of our...
Yeah, I think it's the end of the spoiler free. It's pretty much all we can say without spoiling anything.
So spoiler warning up. And then, so let's talk about Isle of Dogs. I thought, one dog that was... one thing that was really funny is there's, who was it? The dog Jeff Goldblum plays, I think. Duke. He always has these rumors. He's like, hey, did you hear the rumor about whatever? And not all of them, most of them seem to be true. And like throughout the whole movie, did you hear the rumor about whatever?
And it's stuff that's happened since the beginning of the movie. And it's like, he hasn't been around anybody but these 4 other dogs and the little boy. Yeah, and so it's like, what?
Like, and at the end, like, what was like, I think it was the Bill Murray dog. I think it was like, where do you get these rumors?
Who tells you them?
Who tells you these rumors?
Yeah. That was pretty amusing. This is a running gag throughout it. I also liked just every dog in the movie, every so often, just turns their head and sneezes. Just chew.
Well, they all have dog flu.
They all have dog flu.
That's part of the reason the bad guy, who comes from a long line of dog haters and cat lovers.
Yep.
he's the mayor of this like mega city. It's in the future, I guess. And so his part of his plan to get rid of all the dogs is
I'm trying to remember the name of the city.
I don't remember. Anyway, his plan is to infect all the dogs with several diseases, including dog flu.
Right.
And so
Megasaki.
Yeah, and so it's starting to spread to people, I guess. And so he, as part of his re-election campaign, he promises to get rid of all the dogs, which have become a nuisance now. And then so he ships all the dogs off to this trash island because the Japanese. If you're unaware, the Japanese build these islands in the ocean, just man-made island. They call them buns. And they fill them with trash, and then when they get full, they cap them off with dirt, and they'll build like a power plant or a water treatment plant or something on top of it.
Yeah, some kind of like industrial facility.
Right. And so all the dogs are deposited on one of these islands. Although this one is way bigger than anyone that's ever been made in real life.
Yeah. It's also not square.
Yeah, when a man makes an island, they tend to make them square.
Unless it's Dubai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crap, now I lost my train of thought. What I was going to add to that. But anyway. How do we get... Anyway, so yeah, the movie's pretty heartwarming as you go through, and there's this, the Bryan Cranston dog.
Yeah.
Who's a stray. It's the other four main dogs all had loving owners, and then Bryan Cranston dog Chief is a stray, and he doesn't want to help. He doesn't want to help the boy
who comes looking for
the
his
little
dog.
pilot.
They call him the little pilot because he stole an airplane and flew it to the island to look for his dog. That's in the trailer, so you should know that. But anyway, they decide to help him because he's the only owner who's come looking for a dog, and so he deserves their help as far as they're concerned, except for Chief Bryan, the Bryan Cranston dog, doesn't want to help him. But the five of them have formed this democracy, and so they vote for everything.
It's always 4-1,
and it's always 4-1 because he always says nay. But he goes along with them because they form this group, and so they're just escorting the kid across the island to where they think his dog there is a dog who might be able to tell them right
where his dog is, and then on to where his dog is. And that dog has some character development throughout it that's very heartwarming.
Yeah, and because there's a point where the boy and Chief get separated from the other dogs.
Are we at the spoiler part?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't remember. I don't pay attention to you.
And the boy gives him a treat. And
he's like, "This is my new favorite food."
Yeah. And he gives him a bath, and he's nice to him, and suddenly this dog loves him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it works with dogs,
Yeah.
If you've ever owned a dog, it's kind of how it works. It's just this dog just suddenly is very protective of him and loving him.
You pet him and hug him, you give him a treat, and you're that dog's best friend now. You're the new best friend.
So when the boy's asleep, the dog stays up and guards him, and and like suddenly when they meet up with the rest of the dogs, they're like, "What, you like him now? What's going on?"
Yeah. Oh man, that line cracked me up so much when they're going through the compactor crusher.
Yeah, so the way they get separated is there's these conveyors, these buckets on cables, like gondolas, yeah. And they move trash around the island and stuff, and so they get separated into two different ones. And so the boy and the Chief, they go off on one, and the other ones go into this. They go through this door, and it says like shredder, compactor, incinerator, or something on it, and you don't see them for a while, and we're all sitting there like, are they dead?
It's a Wes Anderson movie, so they Might be. Like, the movie might just end and we never see him again.
Right, we don't know if they're dead. And then, like, later it cuts through there, and they're going through, but all of, like, the mechanics of, like, the shredding and the chopping and the incinerating aren't working right. And they're just going through, like, wow, if this were working right, we'd be dead right now.
Yeah. Like, I suppose if this were working, we'd be dead by now. Yeah, it's just, like, this line just cracked me up.
There were some really funny lines in the movie.
Yeah. But I highly recommend you go see this movie.
Yeah, it's really pretty great.
Yeah. This was a good weekend for cinema for us.
Yeah, we saw two winners.
Definitely. Isle of Dogs has better reviews and is probably going to do better at the box office. But I think Death of Stalin was a better movie.
Yeah.
Personally. But
hopefully this gets nominated for
Best Animated
Feature or something.
What? Oh, there's a Pixar movie coming out this year, isn't there?
Is there? Oh, Incredibles 2?
Incredibles 2, I think, comes out this year.
Yeah.
So it might not just because of that. Although it is Wes Anderson, so there is actually a pretty decent chance that all those old farts at the Academy will actually watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it does get nominated for Best Animated Feature, because it should probably win. I mean, what else was this year? Ferdinand? Or was that last year?
That was last year.
Oof. Yeah. But, yeah, so...
I don't know, maybe when Boss Baby 2 comes out.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, or I'm going to keep reminding you about that talking dog detective movie that we saw the preview for.
That, sadly, is not a McGruff movie.
No. It's got Ludacris in it. And that movie looks awful.
I had legitimately shoved that out of my mind until you mentioned it, because when you mentioned it, my mind went straight to, did I forget about a McGruff movie?
Yeah.
And then I remembered that trailer we saw, and
that's so cringy.
It's so bad.
Yeah. So yeah, and it looks like the kind of thing that we're gonna see the trailer for over and over and over again.
They said from the director of Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I'm like, well, who else would direct this movie?
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, it's anyway. If you like Wes Anderson, or you like
doggos,
and puppers and good boys and all that, yippers and yappers and whatnot,
and woofers.
Our dog is a raffer. We determined, right?
She makes a raffing noise. Her bark sounds like raff.
Raff. Yeah. So that's if you're a fan of doggos.
I think there's even a splooter in there.
Go check this movie out if you like Wes Anderson, or even if you just like sort of artistic movies, because like visually, very high like artistic value in this movie.
Yo.
Every scene is like a photograph, almost, the way it's framed so perfectly. But yeah, so go check that out. I don't think I really have anything else to say about it other than just showering it with more praise.
Nope, it's a good one.
So what's next week? Is there anything next week?
I don't know. We're gonna be out of town.
Well, we can see something on Monday. Or Thursday night, even. Oh, convenient. Nothing is next week. Cool. The week after that's Rampage and Super Troopers 2. I don't give a crap about Rampage, but you said you might want to see it.
Yeah. This might be the best video game adaptation yet.
Well, no, that is not going to be a better movie than Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
It's not, and you know it. But we'll see if Super Troopers 2 is even showing in our town. I think that's getting a
limited
release as well.
Yeah, well, I think the thing was crowdfunded into existence.
In fact, was crowdfunded into existence. It's 100% accurate. Then the week after that's Avengers Infinity War, which we sure as hell are seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be on that, like, white on rice on a paper plate, the glass of milk in the middle of a snowstorm. So, expect that coming up for our movie reviews. Also check out our streams over on twitch.tv/everything_is_bad, where we've been streaming The Last of Us. We're going to be doing the DLC coming up, and then we'll be moving on to other stuff after that. And when I'm not being lazy and actually get them edited and posted, they're also archived up here on our YouTube channel. The series is 15 episodes long. Right?
I don't know.
I think it was 15 episodes. Anyway, so if you're interested in that, check that out.
I was only in like 11 of them, so...
I think you were in 13 of them. I think I only did 2 without you. Anyway, so yeah. Or this is one you're like half in because you were handing out Halloween candy. That's how long it took me to play that game. So check that out.
Is that going on?
Huh?
Oh, is that going on?
Yeah. So check that out. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.